This is a presentation by ChannelPro Network IoT Playbook called the Azure All-In Campaign. It's a concept presentation. My name is Mark Smith, and I'm a former IT director, founder and publisher of Windows NT Magazine, which had 1.5 million readers worldwide and sold to Penn Media in 2004, $100 million. And one of the best things I loved about working at Windows NT Magazine was our great authors, like Paul Thurrott and Mark Rusinovich, who's now the CTO of Azure. And I'm a partner in the ChannelPro Network. Now, the ChannelPro Network's mission is to help IT service providers increase the market value of their companies. Now, just a quick snapshot here. We did a 2018 State of the Channel, and what was important is 60% of the audience expected their share of revenue from the cloud to grow in 2018, okay? And 79% offered some form of cloud services, and 80% offered some form of managed services, but only 23% currently derive 50% or more of the revenue from managed services. So there's a big upside opportunity that I want to talk about here. Okay, now who is the typical channel pro? We'll call them ITpreneur. Now the majority had IT careers and specialized in Windows Server and back office. Then many started their own business and they got involved with either Microsoft SBS 2003 or 2008. And most of the integrators are not all in with Azure. So these are people that were all in with Windows NT and back office, but they're not all in with Azure, and I'm going to explain why. But they are adopting Active Directory on Azure, Office 365 on Azure, so they touch Azure at some peripheral point. However, they do follow a predictable business journey with windows of opportunity to help them get to the next level with Azure solutions. So this is the journey that we mapped out after talking to hundreds of MSPs, okay? So we'll call this the IT service owner's journey and the market value of their business. Now we determine the market value of the business also by talking with many M&A people that do deals, that actually buy MSPs, and this is based on current valuations. So let's say on the left axis here we have no value, and at the right end we have a high value. So a break-fix VAR right now unfortunately has no market value. An MSP 10 years ago was brand new, and now it's pretty common for the average MSP that's out there. Now, the next level up is cloud services. So what's the difference here? Well, they built a bundle of cloud services that is starting to provide some unique value, okay? And they're getting more recurring revenue that can grow and scale without adding as many people. And then the MSSP, this is relatively new, managed security service provider. So these are people that have an expertise on cybersecurity, risk assessments, compliance, and whatnot. The next level is full vertical services. So they've niched down into, especially into one of the heavily regulated industries. Healthcare, financial services, legal, government contractors, whatnot. They pay more for services, especially security services. And then packaged IP. And those are people that have developed some unique process or software or whatever, typically in a vertical, that gives them more valuation. They start getting valued a little bit like a software company. All right. Now, this maps to an IP staircase that I got from IDC in a Microsoft Azure presentation about packaged offering. So if you think about project services, that's on the low end of IP, so it has less value. And that maps out to our reseller and VAR type thing. Labeled bundles. So that in fact maps out to our cloud service bundles. In fact, we teach a course called the Cloud 5 Formula, teach you how to put a bundle together of cloud services, label it, and how to price and package it. Gives you more value, more uniqueness. Package extensions, and then full functional solutions. These a lot of times will start to map out to, adding in security services and whatnot, and then full vertical. So going into the vertical market, adding some IP and whatnot. Okay, so it roughly maps out, but I can tell you that our audience, this is the way they talk about the transitions. Okay, they say, hey, I'm mostly break fix, I want to go to MSP, or I am an MSP and I need to really fix my bundle, or yeah, I'm selling cloud services right now, but I really want to become an MSSP, and so on and so forth. And here, so let me go into what that looks like. Okay, now we kind of mapped out this journey in terms of the desired transformation, the mind shift that needs to happen, the core business skills that they need to get, and then what tools that they're often buying when they're going through this transition. Okay, so in the break fix to VAR, they want to go become a managed service provider. The mind shift is it needs to change that, hey, I make more money when something does not break. So in a break fix, obviously, when something breaks, they get called in or a new project happens. Here, they got to set up systems and whatnot so that nothing breaks, and they actually make more money when nothing breaks. So it's a big mind shift change. And the core business skills, they need to learn the systems, pricing, packaging, migration tools. And the systems we're talking about are mostly RMM, remote monitoring management, and PSA, professional services automation. And of course, they can pick us some Azure infrastructure type things at this level. All right, now they become an MSP and they want to add cloud services, more of that. So the big mind shift that we teach and that needs to happen is going from selling to selling an offer versus selling a product. So a lot of them start to sell cloud services. Maybe they lead with Office 365, but because that is commodity, they get crushed on the price per user and stuff. And so what we teach them is how to bundle, price, package, again, that offer so that it is an offer focus. They create a unique named bundle with a unique pricing and packaging, and therefore it's very difficult for them to be compared to anybody else. At this level, they're buying more cloud services, migration services, and more Azure stuff. Okay. Then you want to go from cloud service to MSSP, and we're in the middle of helping about 20 beta people make this transition. So we're really deep into, and we've helped hundreds of people make these earlier transitions. With this particular MSSP, the big mind shift goes to protecting assets versus user and devices. So typically, if you're at an MSP, you're going in and say, hey, how many users does this guy have? How many devices? I'm going to come up with a service here. But what we found in the MSSP, it's about the assets that need to be protected. So for example, a 5-user hedge fund that has $1 billion under management is going to be worth more to them than a 50-user company, right? Because it's about the asset protection. So that's a big mind shift and a different kind of business conversation to have. Core business skills, they need to learn compliance, cybersecurity, breach detection, risk mitigation. Now, the level to which they need to learn it is what we teach. They need to have the business conversation. They don't necessarily need to become super expert in each of these, but they need to be able to talk to them and then be able to partner with people who go super deep in these. What tools do they need? Well, they need cybersecurity services, so a whole bunch of new bundled security services, risk assessments, compliance as a service, and then some Azure-based bundles at this new level. All right? And then finally, a lot of them are now, the ones that have been successful and broken through that 7-figure barrier did so by finding a niche. And there's a big chunk of the audience that is, I call, nicheless, right? And because of that, they're struggling getting leads. Their marketing pretty much sucks. So what we teach a course, and the desired transformation is, hey, how do I find the right profitable niche? How do I get predictable leads? How do I start to develop some IP? So again, the mind shift is vertical niche versus horizontal. And this is a big mind shift. A lot of people think, wow, if I niche down, I'm going to leave something on the table. But this is a big shift that needs to happen. And then to move away, another mind shift is how to generate predictable leads versus relying on referrals. Okay, these are two big ones that need to be overcome. What we teach, LinkedIn lead gen, local marketing, vertical niching down, some marketing automation and funnels, and then how to build some vertical IP. Tools they need marketing automation. They need what we're calling an instant credibility stack. So if they're new to a particular niche, we teach them how to get instant credibility either through partnering or some other techniques we teach. We teach them lead gen service. We're starting to get into, and this is when we need some help, about Azure vertical niching. So how to find the right Azure-based solutions that are in the niche that they've chosen. And then, of course, as soon as we niche down, especially into niches like manufacturing, oil and gas, a lot of different niches require IoT, and that becomes a new thing they can add on at this level. Okay? Now, how do we market these offers? Well, so our challenge is how do we help ITpreneurs get through that journey faster and better than they can on their own? Well, we have different webinar funnels, one for each step in the journey. And then we have this survey funnel, which is a 2-minute assessment that leads to these funnels above. So we can quickly assess in about 2 minutes where they're at in their journey and where they should go next. We also have a podcast we just launched where we talk to these ITpreneurs who have made the transformation and those who can help with the transformation. And then we do online summits. So we did a cybersecurity online summit. So we targeted the people who want to become MSSPs, doing an IoT summit, and then something we propose in this document is a 30-day challenge for Azure. So how do we overcome Azure objections? All right, well, let's think about where they came from. Okay, this is the breakthrough they had. When they decided to become IT service providers, Small Business Server was there. You know, it helped them get in easy. It was something that they understood because they got Windows NT Server on the enterprise and all the back office stuff. And here it was available at a small level. It's a packaged solution, easy licensing, most of what their customers needed for infrastructure. And they were able to migrate this to the MSP business model. Okay. Here's the way they think about it now, right? So they look at this periodic table and they go, wow, there's a lot of stuff in there. It's complicated. I'm looking for something easy like SBS 2008 or, the way you implement Office 365. Okay. But a lot of what they're seeing is positioned like, hey, here's everything it can do. But they're looking literally for step by step. So we have a market mismatch. And I know that there's been attempts to help cross this chasm, but the MSP model was new, 10 years ago. So the people that we're trying to yank out of there back, they're the laggers, they're the skeptics. And so they have lots of questions in there, but we're pushing them up the, through this bell curve. CSPs, it's not new anymore, so it's the late majority. There's still a big chunk that are adding. And the real challenge at this level is, again, pricing and packaging. That's just not something that they know how to do. So we're helping them with that. Azure is out of the early adopter phase because it was really spent a lot of time with the enterprise. But to cross this chasm, it's going to need some easy stuff. And I've seen a lot of, blueprints and things from the DISD, from the distributors, which is great. And we can help market that. MSSPs, it's just caught out of the innovator phase and it's in early adopters. So we're working, to help, build up this early adopter thing. But really right here is a big opportunity.
So what I've done in this worksheet is map out the different software services that we would need at each level. So across the top here is break fix, MSP plus CSP, MSSP, and niche. Okay. Now, at the break fix level and every level, you're going to need some sort of form of accounting. So we'll just say that's across the top. Now, as we get into the MSP level, we're now getting into an RMM tool, PSA tool, a recurring billing system, and then you now need some remote monitoring for laptops, mobile devices, server, PC patch management, virus scanning. And as we bump up to the cloud CSP level. Okay, we put together this Cloud 5 formula package here that includes storage form of Office 365 with all these different things broken out and some basic website hosting. They may or may not choose to use that, but we could throw that in. And as we get up to the MSSP level, we start to get into a little more details here. Security policies, creation, Wi-Fi and IoT monitoring, dark web monitoring, risk vulnerability assessments. This is usually up front. SIMs, BDR, outsource SOC, compliance as a service, and end user training and phishing testing kind of thing. Okay. And as we start bumping up, this really needs to get flushed out because there's so many different verticals we could focus on. But this is where we can start getting into some Microsoft Dynamic type related stuff on Azure, and then healthcare packages, which would precipitate an IoT package for medical devices, oil and gas IoT package, cannabis IoT package, and so on and so forth. Now, at each of these levels, there's no way that these guys, as they move, are not going to be able to do it without some training, both in mindset training and in core skills training. So they got to learn how to actually put an agreement together at the MSP level and other things. Basic offer creation, which is sorely missing. Advanced offer creation really comes in at these levels here too, MSP and whatnot. Marketing offers, they need to start really learning how to do this stuff. Compliance, security frameworks, these are core skills. Niche marketing, local marketing, and so on and so forth. So there's the what I call the RPM offer matrix that we put together. We'd like to discuss further.
So the particular Azure and distributor co-marketing opportunities run people through a 2-minute RPM, or Recurring Profits Mastery assessment, quiz funnel to determine their current journey status. Then, depending on where they're at, we offer specific Azure Enhanced Business Opportunity courses, done with you services, and the prepackaged bundles purchased via distributor that I mentioned earlier. We create the 30-day challenge campaign, which I'll talk about in a minute, and we create some vertical niche summits with bonus marketing courses and done-for-you options, including Microsoft Development Fund showcases. So, for example, instead of recommending that our people who are looking for a niche go to an IT healthcare summit, we bring the summit to them. Okay, and we feature only Azure certified vertical apps and Azure certified IoT devices, pre-built bundles, case studies, and whatnot. Now, for the 30-day challenge, this is what I'm recommending. So we interview 7-figure Azure integrators and we ask this big question: if you lost everything and all you had was your laptop, internet access, and an Azure account, what would you do in the next 30 days to build your business back? Then those 7-figure people give us behind-the-scenes look at their current business. And we offer this to the market. And the summit byproducts would include a 30-day Azure Solutions Playbook, online summit recordings, testimonials, blueprints, and a whole lot more. So with that is a concept of an sort of all-in Azure campaign. Again, my name is Mark Smith, and you can reach me at the email address on your screen.